Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio. Today I have a question that I already know the answer to. Samantha, have you seen all of the Star Wars movies now?
Oh, so many times now. Not all of them,
Only the original trilogy.
Only the originals. It's true. I think we had to rewatch one of them because I was like, I don't remember any of this. It was the worst one,
and I think
too.
we rewatched it again, and you still didn't remember it, and I was like, that's fine.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. But yes, I have now been updated to the Star Wars world. To the fact that one of my closest friends who I've known for years and who knows me so well, he was like, you watched it? And I was like, yeah, I finally watched it. And he was like, but that was kind of like the point of pride for you that you've never seen it and you never would. And I was like, I finally gave in.
And I'm glad you did because it meant the world to me. I will say she hasn't seen The Mandalorian or the shows, but that's okay.
I will tell you, as we are speaking, there is a special episode of Ewoks something that has popped up, apparently ready for you.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I'll keep that in mind because I am about to start watching the shows, and The Mandalorian, the second season, is about to come out. So I'm ready. So we were just going to have a light discussion. There's so much grim things happening in the world. We thought we'd do a light one in here for now. Just a discussion of Samantha's thoughts on these movies. So spoilers if you haven't seen any. I do feel really bad that we didn't put a heads up in that quiz episode about spoilers because there were a lot in that Star Wars episode.
I didn't know. And then
I know, and I felt bad.
It again, after we watched it, I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. So apologies about that to anyone who might not have wanted to be spoiled. And we did watch them in chronological order is so confusing. We watched them episode 1 to 9. We watched them in that manner, even though she had already seen the original trilogy. So what did you think about the prequels? Let's start there.
Okay. Honestly, which ones were the prequels? That's one with Christian. Oh, that's not his name. What's his name?
Hayden Christensen.
There you go. I knew there was something with Christian, with him in it, right? And Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Yep.
I was very confused for a big chunk of it and had a lot of questions, and then I kind of zoned out for another chunk of it.
Yeah.
I will say I agreed with Hayden when he said he hates the sand. I also hate the sand. So I agree with him, even though that was a really dumb and silly scene. I was like, yeah, I get that.
I'm glad you connected with him on that
I get that.
And it's worth pointing out that during all of these, we were like maybe not paying the most attention, and I was fine with that. Right. So your confusion is understandable, perhaps even if you had been watching. That was the first time I'd seen them in a long time. I loved them when I was a kid, except for Attack of the Clones. I never liked that one, but I did love them. And I know I kept saying to you, Samantha, like the story was so good and they ruined it. I will say that thanks to fan fiction, I have really come around to Padme Amidala. Like, I think she's a badass, and she was done wrong in those scripts and in those movies. And like her character was done wrong too, but she could have been so good.
You do say that a lot.
Yeah.
You did say that a lot.
Yeah. It is interesting to me that the prequels are going through sort of a resurgence, or people are kind of into them right now.
Right.
I don't know why, but okay.
Yeah. People are defending a lot of the movies. I will say, I feel like because I was given a heads up about how bad it was, I had really no expectation for it. So it wasn't as bad as everyone told me it was. I was very upset with the whole, Attack of the Clones. I was very upset with that. And I would ask every few minutes, who's going to die? He's about to die, right? They're about to die. He's going to die. Yeah. They're going to die. That's definitely a thing I do. I'm sorry for anyone who ever watches a movie with me that doesn't like that. I'm like, you need to prepare me. So prepare me because I'm going to be upset with you and this movie, which did not happen in another movie.
I forgot. Sometimes I forget people don't have basic knowledge of the Star Wars universe that I just take for granted. And we'll talk about that in a second. Music by John Williams, great as always. That's probably the last thing I'll say about the prequels. So then we watched Solo, which is the Star Wars story, Han Solo standalone movie. What were your thoughts on that one?
That was actually one of my favorite ones. I thought that was very entertaining. Did I believe that dude was Harrison Ford younger? No, of course not. I thought that was ridiculous. But I think I liked the story. I liked the background of it. It was a little more lighthearted. And since it was a standalone, I was like, I could enjoy this. This does kind of remind me of every other 2000s action film.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people really didn't like Solo when it came out. I thought it was fun. Like, I wouldn't say it was, anything more than that, perhaps, but it was fun.
Yeah. I also loved having Donald Glover as a part of the show. He made it for me. He's fantastic in it. So, I found that delightful.
Well, okay. Here's the very important question. Did Lando have sex with the Millennium Falcon?
Okay, first of all, there's so many weird things to this whole thing about his love for this robot, but I guess it was a different time. I will say
it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
But on top of that, it's kind of like the same joke as where James Franco had a relationship with a Japanese pillow.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of that. So I couldn't take it seriously.
Right.
But if you want to take it literally, then I would say yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Then that makes his upset that Han has this ship even more powerful.
Yeah.
It's a romance. I didn't realize. Yeah. A three-way.
A three-way romance.
With the
three-way romance.
And then we did watch Rogue One, and this is the one I have to apologize because I didn't realize you didn't know that everyone dies.
I really was upset. I did not know the level of death that was in the entirety of the thing. Of course, everything comes out very ominously anyway, with a little girl watching her mother die. And I'm like, what the hell? And honestly, I feel like her father's death was unnecessary. Did not drive the point. Did not make this plot. Didn't really need to die. Just saying.
She had to pick up his mantle.
Whatever. But she didn't because she then died. Well, she did and she didn't.
She did.
She could have done it without him dying.
But would she have?
Yes.
But would she have?
Yes.
Well, that's your opinion. I just remember in the middle of it, you were getting more increasingly angry. And I said, it's the Titanic of Star Wars. What do you think? And you gave me this look it's the Titanic of Star Wars.
Yes, I didn't know this, and I was very upset.
Yeah, she was pretty mad.
You have to tell me these things.
I think Rogue One is probably my favorite. Outside of the original trilogy, it's probably my favorite. It's beautiful. And seeing the AT-ATs on that tropical planet, seeing Darth Vader at the end, very chilling. I know I've told the story, but hilariously, the first time I saw this, I thought it took place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It takes place right before A New Hope, so I was way off. And I kept getting mad at but no, he's dead by now.
Right.
That character's dead. But no, I really like it. It was cool, even though it did feel sort of fan service to see Darth Vader fight in CGI glory, because they didn't have that power back then. They didn't have the technology when they originally made them. So that was pretty cool and scary. I've come to appreciate how scary Darth Vader is lately, because I just grew up knowing him, so I've never really been afraid of him.
Right.
But now, I don't know. Okay. I guess we don't really have to talk about the original trilogy since we really did that in the Leia episode.
We did.
So the sequels then. The sequel trilogy.
I didn't think it was as bad as everyone said. I was very confused by some of the things. I was still confused about Luke's character, and I'm still confused about why he died. Again, I feel like that was an unnecessary death as well. Poor Harrison Ford's character dying really upset me, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like Adam Driver's character, and that's Kylo Ren, right?
Yeah.
And the other...
Rey,
they shouldn't have gotten together. That's absurd, and I still find it a little insulting that they still have the people of color as kind of the background characters and can't pair up them as being the stars. I find that insulting. I think I went off on a rant about that.
You did?
Because I was like, already Star Wars doesn't really love Black people. It seems. Maybe I'm the only one, and definitely not Asian people. The only Asian characters I saw in that whole movie was like the girl who was a singer at the badly edited scene with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's one Asian girl. Okay, there's that. So I was very like offended by that whole thing. I think John Boyega got screwed over a little bit in his characters, and he should have gotten a lot more. So I'm not. I'm not.
So
I didn't
did
love
Rose.
That. Yeah. Rose is like she was such a blip. Had I not known how big of a deal for her to be in that movie, I wouldn't even thought twice about it. Like that's how unfortunate it was. Like I'm just like she's been so minimized, and I know that was a big thing and big battle because first of all, Star Wars talking about gatekeeping, huge, and she was one of the big points of contention, which was so insulting in itself. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Kylo Ren character really annoyed me, and I was like, I could do without him.
See? And I know you heard my spiel. I think he's just a bad Jedi. I think he's not very good. And people are always mad about Rey being so good. I know I've said it a million times. Why aren't we talking about maybe he's just bad? Because also, John Boyega's character Finn beat him too.
Yeah.
And no one's really saying anything about that.
But Dommel.
Yeah.
My dear Dommel. Even him being a bad guy.
Yeah.
I still loved him.
Yeah. I mean...
He was the funniest part of it all, I feel like.
Well, like I said, he got the biggest applause line, which is ridiculous but true, in the Rise of Skywalker when I saw it in theaters. I mean, it's really tragic because, as you say, there is so much gatekeeping and there was so much like, it has to be this way, that there's already all these conspiracy theories that they're going to redo the whole series, which is wild because that movie, the last movie, it's been less than a year since it's been out. And my biggest question, my biggest takeaway from that movie was, who had sex with Palpatine? Who?
I'm still trying to figure out why he's there. Like,
he shouldn't be there.
It doesn't, like, it just feels so weird. I was like, wait, what? What? Who? What? Why?
Well, and I
already have one really bad guy who looks like him anyway. So I'm like, what? Why is he necessary then?
I know. And it was technically him. And after this, I was so like determined to get to the bottom of this, like who had sex with Palpatine. I read comics I'd never read. And in theory, Rey could be technically related to Kylo Ren. So just put that out there.
They always keep doing that.
Yeah. And then bonus, the holiday special.
Oh, Lord. I think that's the one part I got really angry because you guys restarted it and I was like, I'm out. I'm going to kill all of you and I'm out.
I love that when Mark Hamill recently tweeted about the debate, like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. I was in a holiday special. At least 10 people contacted me about it. I'm like, wow, I've really made a name for myself with this holiday special, haven't I?
This is your fault that I watched it, first and foremost.
Yes, I take full responsibility for this.
And I just remember thinking, who in the right mind thought this was safe for children? Because this would have given me nightmares.
Yeah, it's unsettling. It's unsettling. For anyone who's listening and hasn't seen it, but you've heard how bad it is, it's worse than you could ever possibly imagine.
As bad as you built it up, as bad as you told me it would be, I still was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And
me too.
I will say, didn't they say they're trying to redo it?
They're doing an homage to it for Thanksgiving, like a Lego Star Wars homage, which I'm excited to see what that's like. Because, I mean, I do find it very hilarious, unintentionally, but I laugh every time I watch it. And I will say it been my journey, my determined goal to get a framed picture of Chewbacca, because that is my favorite part of the holiday special. And a friend of mine, for my birthday, painted me one and framed it. So thank you, Katie.
It looks so good. You did such a great job.
Excellent. It was excellent. Yeah, I mean, I am bummed that you didn't at least get to the B. Arthur part of the Christmas special, but I understand.
Yeah, I guess I was like, I'll be back. And then we restarted and I was like, I'm going to kill you. I'm leaving.
You made it like the first half is definitely worse than the second half.
I thought it was literally going to be 30, 45 minutes, and it was like an hour and a half. I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's long.
Oh, hell
that's
no.
Long. Anyway, I know people out there are like, oh, I definitely got to see this.
Oh.
Just go in knowing it's going to be very bad, but it can be fun.
Real bad.
It can be fun.
Real bad.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Samantha, for embarking on this journey with me. Thanks, listeners, both who have seen Star Wars and especially those who haven't, who might have listened and been like, what? Thanks for coming on this journey as well. If you listeners have any Star Wars thoughts, I'm down to hear them. Or any thoughts in general. Oh my gosh, if you watch the holiday special, please send me a review.
Yeah.
You can send it to our email address with this stuff media momstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can also find us on Twitter @momstuffpodcast or on Instagram @Stuff Mom Never Told You. Thanks as always to our super producers JJ Posway and Andrew Howard.
Don't watch the specials, guys.
Do it. And thanks to you for listening. Stuff Mom Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.